Hey there.
Oh, hey there.
How was your Western excursion, Kate?
It was really good.
We're the history buffoons. I meant to say that first.
And I'm Kate.
I know I said that. I'm Bradley.
Yes, you are.
How was your trip?
It was really good. It was a 13-hour drive.
Which is long.
One way.
Yeah, which is long.
It is long. And of course, I did okay with my whole motion sickness thing until like the very end.
Yeah.
And of course, we're in the Black Hills and everything is all twisty turny. And I did okay, though. I did okay. But saw my brother's family, saw my sister's family, saw my parents.
Yeah, which is nice.
Yeah, it was good.
When did a couple things you said, right?
So I went to Deadwood, which was why I did a recent episode on it.
And you were disappointed.
I was a little disappointed, I'm not going to lie.
And what was the most thing you were disappointed in? It was just too casino-y?
It was so casino-y, and hold on, I have a cough already. And like, if you don't gamble, there's not much for you to do, which is super unfortunate.
Right. No,
unless you go outside of Deadwood.
There's a city, because I'm going out to Colorado, there's a city that was like that too, where we used to go there all the time. When I was younger, my dad would take us there, and all it is,
excuse me,
all it is now is just fucking casinos. Yeah. And it's like, well, this is dumb. Yeah. Like, do I like doing that once in a great while? Maybe. I don't prefer to do it though. Yeah. However, it's the same thing. It's just all. I'm sorry. Well, why don't we get into our beer so you can take a sip of your beer? So you brought us back some South Dakota beer.
I'm dying.
I might be a single person show soon.
So this is from Sawyer Brewing Company from Spearfish, South Dakota. It is called Cadillac Couch. It is a lager brewed with lime. Oh my good golly, Miss Molly.
Well, tell them the story about how you've already had it.
Okay. Trying not to die here. So on the way to the campground, stopped at a liquor store first because priorities.
Jesus.
And I bought this. And then the next day we went to Deadwood and happened to have this without knowing that it was this one.
It was on tap, right?
It was on tap and it was delicious. And I got back to the cabin. I was like, oh, thank God it's the same thing. And I loved it.
Good.
And then I also got you something.
Which is called Firehouse Lights American Light Lager. I am not as big of a lager person as you are. And being a light lager, I'll be curious to see what I think of this. Because to me, it might be too light.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know. We'll try it.
You have a backup beer.
Well, I do. I have this. I'm going to start with the Cadillac Couch.
Cadillac Couch.
I do like lime.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I like it.
Yeah, not bad.
So
not too shabby.
So there was a reenactment of Wild Bill Hickok
getting killed.
Yeah.
Shot in the back.
Yeah. And there was an actor who had the long gray hair and everything.
Played the part, yeah.
He really did.
And didn't you say he always stayed in character or whatever?
Oh, yeah. He was in character the whole time.
So how did he play it after getting shot? He just laid there?
Yeah. Yeah.
For the rest of the night?
No. No, he had a nice 15, 20-minute story ahead of time, which was really good.
Yeah.
Stuff I didn't know. And then they did the reenactment. But that was the best part. There were a couple shootouts in the middle of Main Street that were just really lackluster.
They're just trying to put something on for the tourist people.
Yeah, it was lackluster.
And it's funny because when I went there 9 years ago, I don't remember. I don't know if we saw anything like that, but I don't remember feeling disappointed like you did. Maybe I just was more aware of what it was going to be. Maybe I don't know, but I don't remember being as disappointed as you felt when you went there.
Well, like we went into the Bullock Hotel.
Yeah.
And just casino machines everywhere.
Yeah.
And there might have been like a picture or so on the wall or a bust of Seth Bullock. And
yeah.
But it's just like, okay, that was it.
That's too bad.
Just set out a machine.
But hey.
Yeah, but that's all right.
You went there.
I'm glad I went.
And you did not go to the museum I told you to go to.
No, I ran out of time, unfortunately. But it was still a good South Dakota trip. And yeah. So
good.
Today we're going to talk about Albert Roach.
Albert Roach.
Yes. So he is considered, quote, the first soldier of France.
First soldier of France?
Mm-hmm.
Like the very first one?
It was just a title. It wasn't actually. He wasn't the actual first soldier.
I know.
But he was called that. Blah, 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 blah.
Viva la Revolution.
So, if you look at official photographs from like the opening months of the Great War, which is what World War I was called at the time.
Yes.
The Great War in 1914, you'll notice a very distinct aesthetic.
What?
The French military in particular was obsessed with a certain image. They called it elan vital.
Elan vital?
The all-conquering spirit or life force.
Okay.
So to the French high command, warfare was an act of supreme, like masculine will. And that will was supposed to be packaged in a specific way. Tall, broad-shouldered young men with big mustaches wearing bright blue tunics, which are like shirts.
Yes.
And vibrant red trousers.
Vibrant red trousers.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I had some vibrant red trousers.
They looked less like modern soldiers and more like 19th century like oil paintings.
Weird.
Yeah. So history, though, don't care about that kind of shit. They don't care about aesthetics. Because while the French army was busy looking for giants to save the Republic, the universe was busy preparing their greatest soldier. And he was currently standing in a pile of manure in the south of France. And his name was Albert Roach.
Albert Roach. So he was just a big old fucking dude. Did they use him as like propaganda to get people to join the army?
The exact opposite.
Oh, just not join the army? What's the exact opposite?
He was a teeny tiny little man.
Oh shit.
So to understand Albert, we have to go to Roville, just his town, tiny sun-baked little commune. This wasn't like Paris cafes and philosophy and art, and
this was farmland.
It was farmland, rocky soil, third generation farmers that would spend hours behind like a horse-drawn plow. Albert's family were laborers, right?
So this is in the south of France?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So by the time that Albert turned 19 in 1914, he had developed a very specific physical constitution. He was built like a root vegetable.
A root vegetable? So he was like a bulbous bottom and a narrow top?
No, just like a bean sprout.
So skinny?
Skinny. He was 5 feet 1 inch tall.
That is short.
And he was so thin, his ribs would show like a freaking xylophone.
Ooh, could someone play it on them?
He had attempted to grow a mustache to mark his like transition into manhood.
Oh, God.
But it had come in patchy and sparse.
Oh, no.
But beneath his scrawny figure,
was
he had
ferocious countryman.
He had the inability to accept the word no.
Okay.
So when the church bells across France began to ring erratically, not a rhythmic ding, ding. It was more like ding, 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 like a dinner bell or whatever. That happened on...
call to arms?
Yes. So that happened on August 1st, 1914. It was the traditional signal for national mobilization.
Wow.
So the young men of Roval dropped their scythes and dropped their horse reins, and they're like, let's go to war.
Said, peace out, women. Yeah. We got to go.
So they were raised on stories of the Franco-Prussian War.
Sure.
Okay. In 1870, France fought a war against German states led by Prussia.
Yeah.
France lost, and the war resulted in the unification of Germany into a single empire.
Oh.
As part of the peace treaty, the newly formed German Empire forced France to cede oh my gosh, I thought I looked this up. I thought I looked up all the pronunciations.
That's all right.
Alsace and a large portion of Lorraine. And the only reason why I know the Lorraine is because my mom's name is Lorraine.
Right.
But these were two wealthy industrial border regions.
Oh, okay.
So for the next 43 years, losing this territory was seen as a massive national humiliation in France.
Okay.
And Albert felt the exact same way. He felt a deep obligation to get to the front lines as quickly as possible.
Let's get this shit back, boys.
So a few days later, Albert marched into the local recruitment center. The room was hot and smelled of like 50 plus farm boys waiting to be weighed in. And at the far end of the room sat a medical examining board and a senior military doctor.
Okay.
Albert stripped down to his undergarments, stepped up to the line and kind of puffed out his chest to make him appear bigger.
Yeah.
And the medical examiner began the examination by using like a standard military measuring rod to check the height and chest expansion.
Oh, jeez.
Upon reviewing the measurements, the physician noted that Roche stood just 5 feet 1 inch tall, a structure well below the preferred physical standard for frontline infantry.
What do you think they would have preferred him to be? What would your guess be?
Oh, probably at least 5'9", 5'10".
How tall are you?
I'm 5'10".
Yeah, because I'm 6'3". So we would have made the cut.
I would have made the cut.
But back then you wouldn't have because you're female.
Yeah. So the doctor evaluated Roach's thin build and concluded that he completely lacked the physical stamina required to endure the grueling conditions of the upcoming campaign.
Yeah.
And this would demand carrying like a 60-pound field pack over long distances, right?
Oh, for sure. They had to carry all their equipment with them.
Yeah.
All their, food,
provisions,
change of whatever, keep your socks clean, all that shit, whatever. Yeah. But yeah.
Trench foot.
Oh, fucking gangrenous. I mean, that was a major concern for them back then because of just the conditions they were in.
Yeah.
It was just fucking gross.
It was.
So, anyways.
So rather than approving his entry into like active combat unit, the medical officer officially declared Roach physically unfit for service.
So did he get like, what did Steve Rogers get?
That's exactly who I pictured is Steve Rogers from Captain America 4F or F4 or something.
4F sounds right. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I don't know if they use that in the French, but
obviously, but that's what he got for.
But that's exactly who he looked like, just this scrawny little farm boy, but just such pride.
Well, and maybe this is what Captain America is based off of.
Nice.
Captain France.
Captain France.
That might be a good title.
So the rejection was finalized with the definitive stamp on his mobilization paperwork, making him look unfit, right?
That's too bad.
So the officer then dismissed him from the recruitment office, instructing him to return to his family until he met the military physical requirements.
So go back.
Beef up a little bit.
Call us when you're taller and bigger.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, what the fuck? And how old was he at this time? He was 19? Yeah, okay.
So for 99% of the population...
That burp was terrible from that beer. Holy shit.
For 99% of the population, this would have been good news.
Yeah, because like, oh, thank God I don't have to go fight.
Yeah,
but
it was a legitimate, legally binding, government-sanctioned excuse to sit out the war.
However, certain people, unlike our country today, who most people want to watch it burn and just fucking fall apart because they have no national pride whatsoever.
Yeah.
He did not, right?
No.
He's like, fuck that. I want to fight for my country.
Yeah.
I want to make a difference. And it's really sad that we don't have, I mean, I don't want world wars again, but it's sad that like there's so many people that would rather just see America just fall to shit.
Yeah.
And then instead of actually having national pride and being a part of it and be like, let's build this up. No, we'd just rather let whatever happen to it. And I will just stop there so I don't get too political. But
so instead, Albert walked out of the recruitment office and concluded that the French military structure was deeply flawed and he needed to fix that.
Oh, okay.
So to Albert, the doctor's rejection wasn't a law. It was just an opinion.
Well,
it's just an opinion.
In a way, he's not wrong.
And Albert didn't respect opinions that got in the way of his own plans. So, over the next few weeks, the French army suffered catastrophic losses during the Battle of the Frontiers.
Yeah.
It was the very first major engagement of World War I on the Western Front, occurring just days after the war was declared.
Yeah.
So the mobilization effort became increasingly frantic.
Right.
Troop trains were moving constantly out of the south and heading towards the north and the east. And in late August, a train pulled into the station near Albert's district.
And they're like, we need all able-bodied young men.
Well, they didn't see him as able-bodied.
Well, no, that one guy didn't.
So it was a chaotic scene, hundreds of young men shouting, families crying. They were all dressed in ordinary farm clothes, and Albert slipped onto the platform, blending into the crowd.
Well, he's short. He could definitely get overlooked.
So while a sergeant was distracted by a group of recruits who managed to smuggle in a barrel of cider, Albert dropped to his hands and knees. And he scurried between the iron wheels of the train, sliding beneath a heavy wooden supply car.
Okay.
He found a small access door used for loading canvas tents and equipments.
Okay.
He jimmied it open and wiggled inside.
Oh, dear.
For the next 14 hours, as the train made its way towards a training depot in the north, Albert lay in complete darkness. He had officially broken into the army. That's,
I mean, again, good for him because he wanted to help his country. And the only way he saw doing it is, unfortunately, breaking rules.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Which is funny because, like, you remember, for World War II, how many of American young men lied about their age
to get enrolled.
To get enlisted.
Yeah.
So they could go fight. And, now today, nobody would fucking do that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So when the train finally stopped at the depot, the doors flew open and the chaotic sounds of like the military camp flooded the car. Officers were screaming at the top of their lungs, demanding that the new recruits line up in rows of 4. Albert waited for the right moment, and when a massive group of confused recruits stumbled out of the neighboring car, Albert simply stepped out of the supply hold and slipped into the middle of the crowd.
Good for him.
He walked onto the muddy parade ground, looked around. He actually found a blue military cap just sitting on a crate. Oh. So he put it on his head and stood at attention like the rest of them.
No, he's a thief.
So for 4 days, Albert lived the life of a soldier.
Oh.
He ate their rations, slept in an empty cot in the back of the barracks room, joined the drilling exercises. And because the camp was processing thousands of men a day, nobody thought to check his ID.
Well, yeah. Would he have really had an ID on him?
No, that's the point. Yes. No.
What the fuck are you saying?
That is the point. They were not checking IDs. He did not have one. He did not have the paperwork.
So, well, that's my point. They can't check it if you don't have it.
But they would ask for it.
I guess what I was trying to say is it's not like he just has an ID like we have today.
No, probably not.
It's my point.
No. So he marched when everybody else marched. He ran when everybody else ran. And in fact, because of his years of farm labor, he easily outpaced the city boys who were collapsing under the weight of their gear. So military bureaucracy is kind of slow, but it does
catch up. Yeah.
I feel like I have a sneeze coming on.
Gesundheit.
There it is.
Yep.
That's one.
Usually there's two. It will come.
It will not be so today. On the fifth morning, a sergeant named Duval was conducting a formal roll call.
Oh.
Albert had basically put together a uniform from whatever random leftover gear he could find around the camp.
Sure.
So his whole outfit was so completely oversized for his tiny little frame. During the roll call, the sergeant noticed this kid, a man looked like a kid, who looked like he was wearing his dad's clothing, looked down at his I was going to say keyboard, his clipboard, and noticed this doesn't add up. There's literally an extra guy standing here that I don't have any information on.
Yeah.
So they hauled Albert in for questioning.
Well, sure.
And he completely owned up to it.
Yeah.
He admitted he didn't have papers, he didn't have travel orders, medical clearance, and had actually snuck into the train and forced his way in to the fight.
Yeah, of course.
So, faced with a 5-foot-tall teenager who had illegally boarded a secure military train.
Very secure.
Falsified his presence in a secure training depot.
Yep.
And spent 4 days demanding to be given a rifle so that he could run into machine gun fire. The camp commander came to an odd conclusion.
Let's do it.
He decided Albert Roach was a deserter.
How?
Because he just showed up out of nowhere. We have no information on you, so clearly you came from somewhere else.
Well, I mean,
you're supposed to be somewhere else. Yeah. So they claimed him as a deserter. So they assumed that he had abandoned a previous assignment somewhere else and had snuck into this specific camp to hide or confuse the system, whatever.
No.
When Albert tried to explain that he didn't desert anything, that he had actually been rejected for being too small and just wanted to join the war, the commander just scoffed.
See, fuck off, dude.
So, as a punishment for his desertion,
supposed,
the army did exactly what Albert had been praying for.
Right.
They assigned him to an active frontline infantry unit.
So they're like, "Hey, man, you apparently deserted. We're just going to put you on the front fucking line."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, luckily this kid fucking wanted that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that's rather fucking harsh.
Yeah.
Without doing any fucking investigative work as to where this kid came from. No, we'll just put you on the front line, hope you die.
Yeah.
Whatever. What the fuck?
So they put him in the 27th Battalion of Chercheurs Alpins. It's French.
What is it again?
Chercheurs Alpins.
I believe you.
It's an elite, brutal mountain infantry known to the German army as Schwarzteufel. That's German.
Okay.
The Germans called the French the Black Devils.
Okay.
So on a side note, the Germans called the French the Black Devils because their uniforms looked so dark.
Oh.
That thought they were black, but they were actually deep
dark
blue.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So the French relabeled themselves as the Blue Devils.
Is that how the Duke Blue Devils got their name? No wonder.
I don't know who they are.
They're a college team, like basketball team, especially. Maybe it was started by some French people, and that's why they're called the Blue Devils.
Maybe.
I'll have to look into that. So
these were the men trained to fight in the freezing vertical landscapes of the Vosges Mountains. That was accurate.
100%.
Anyway, the weather up there killed more men than the bullets did.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
So as Albert was marched out of the commander's office to receive real gear, the guards noticed something strange about the prisoner. He wasn't upset. He wasn't crying. He was actually grinning from ear to ear. He had completely gaslit the French Republic into sending him to war.
That's so weird.
So by the winter of 1915, conflict had been thoroughly buried in the frozen mud of the Western Front. The war had ground down into a industrial stalemate of trenches,
right?
Barbed wire, artillery,
just those big ass metal.
Yeah.
I don't want to say X's because they had like three pieces or whatever, just to stop movement of tanks and whatever, right? And so on.
So Albert's regiment, was stationed in the Vosges Mountains. Mm-hmm.
The V Mountains.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
This is where soldiers fought the enemy, yes, but also fought frostbite, trench foot, and constant exposure to the elements.
That could not have been fun.
And when Albert first marched into the lines, the veteran soldiers of the battalion assumed the high command was playing a joke on them.
Okay.
He was a 5'1" anomaly among men seasoned by the mountains already. His standard issued uniform was still comically oversized.
They probably didn't have something that would fit him, right?
No. To the rest of the squad, he looked more like a freaking mascot. Okay, so Albert ignored all the teasing. He was there for a reason, right? He simply cleaned his rifle, organized his kit, and adjusted to life in the trenches.
Yeah.
He possessed an unusual, quiet focus that others initially mistook as fear.
I could see how that could happen.
Yep.
For sure.
But he was just determined.
Sure.
So his first major test arrived on a cold night during an intense German bombardment.
Okay.
The enemy artillery was systematic, turning the earth upside down and leveling the forward trenches.
Yeah.
Albert's squad was stationed in an isolated observation post, which is a heavily sandbagged dugout positioned directly in no man's land.
Right.
Have you heard of no man's land?
Yes.
Basically, it describes the brutal, barren area between the two opposing armies.
The two opposing trenches.
Basically. Yeah.
Because anyone that would go in there would die.
Yeah.
From the other side, obviously.
Right.
Whatever.
So a heavy explosive shell scored like a direct hit into his dugout. Oh. The impact was catastrophic, collapsing the timber framework, and burying their position basically in the mountain of dirt and debris.
Right.
When the smoke started to clear, Albert managed to kind of claw his way out from beneath the shattered beam.
Yeah.
He was bruised and dazed. He had ringing in his ears.
I'm sure.
And he looked around at the ruined trench and he saw that his commanding officer was dead.
Oh, dear.
So the remaining members of his squad were either unconscious or severely wounded. He was entirely alone in the dark, and through the night, he could hear the distinct, rhythmic crunch of the German boots on frozen ground.
Oh.
A German assault group was advancing across no man's land. Exactly.
Huh.
So in that moment, standard military doctrine dictated two options: retreat to the primary French line or lay down weapons and surrender.
Right.
Albert was like, no, there's a third option.
I kill them all.
He scrambled to the squad's remaining machine gun, dragged it to the left flank of the parapet, which is the protective wall or barrier at the top of a trench that faces the enemy, and unleashed an assault into the darkness.
Okay.
Without waiting to see the result, he unmounted the heavy weapon, sprinted 20 yards through the mud to the right flank, mounted it again, and fired another burst. He then dropped the gun, grabbed a crate of standard issue grenades, and began throwing them in a wide and rapid arc across the front.
Right.
For the next several hours, Albert conducted a frantic one-man defense of the outpost.
That's crazy.
He ran back and forth along the line, shifting firing positions constantly, alternating between rifle fire, machine gun bursts, and grenade volleys.
Wow.
In the dark and chaos, the advancing German soldiers could not see that they were facing a single 5-foot-tall farmer.
Of course not, yeah.
Based on the erratic, overlapping gunfire and the explosions detonating from like multiple angles simultaneously, their officers concluded that they had stumbled into a heavily reinforced French platoon. So when the sun began to rise, a French relief party crept forward from the main line, fully expecting to recover like a trench full of casualties. Instead, they found Albert sitting calmly on an upturned ammunition box, nursing just a minor shrapnel wound and smoking a cigarette.
Wow.
Scattered across the perimeter were dozens of spent shell casings, empty grenade crates, and a small group of disarmed, confused German soldiers who had surrendered to what they believed was an entire squad.
That's wild. Does it say how many Germans surrendered?
I think I'm not sure what this number is, but I have a total number.
Okay.
Later.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. So from that moment onward, he was no longer a mascot.
Of course not.
His reputation had a massive shift.
Sure.
He became known as a soldier who completely disregarded the concept of odds, earning a reputation as like one of the most effective volunteers of nighttime trench raids.
Right. Yeah.
So these raids were high stake operations that required crawling into no man's land under the cover of darkness, cutting through thick tangles of barbed wire, sleeping into enemy trenches to gather intelligence or equipment, and escaping before the alarm could be raised, right?
Right.
So Albert's small stature, once had caused his rejection, became his greatest asset.
Sure.
He could glide between shell craters and slip through wire entanglements that would trap his larger counterparts.
Bigger guys, yeah.
So during a raid in late 1915, his luck kind of hit a snag.
Sure.
While navigating a deep shell crater, a German patrol caught him by surprise. Before he could raise his weapon, a heavy blow from like the rifle butt knocked him unconscious.
Sure.
When Albert came to, he was inside a reinforced German dugout deep behind their lines.
Sure.
His hands were tied with thick rope, his equipment was gone, and a large German guard was stationed near the exit with a rifle resting across his knees.
Yeah.
So for most soldiers, being captured and being held deep within enemy territory was like a physical breaking point, right? Physical, psychological, whatever. It's a breaking point.
It's not good.
Yeah. Albert, however, was irritated. No, he was irritated that his routine had been disrupted. He stayed totally still. He played dead occasionally and watched the guard through squinted eyes.
Okay.
The hours dragged on. The dugout was stiflingly warm.
Yeah.
Distant artillery acted as like white noise, and the German guard had been on duty for a very long shift.
Sure.
Slowly, the guard's chin began to drop.
Oh no, he's falling asleep.
His breathing grew heavy and rhythmic.
Yep.
And he fell asleep.
Whoops.
The medical board that had rejected Albert back in Roval had failed to realize that farm labor creates incredibly strong, lean wrists.
Sure.
And a slight frame means remarkably small hands. Albert began to work his wrists against the tension of the knots, and within a few minutes, the rope slid off.
That's funny.
He did not sneak out of the bunker, however.
What did he do?
To retreat without an advantage was wasted effort to him.
Well, yeah, he was going to gather intelligence and blah, 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 whatever. He's not just going to be like, gotta go.
Yeah.
You know, he's going to do something.
Yes.
Since he's there. That totally makes sense for this person, the way he is. So
he crept silently across the dirt floor, reached down and carefully slid the heavy pistol out of the sleeping guard's holster.
Oh.
He didn't shoot the guard.
No, that's nice.
He gently tapped him on the head with the iron barrel. The guard jolted awake, staring down at the barrel of his own weapon into the eyes of the tiny prisoner that he had been assigned to watch.
Yep.
Using the guard as a shield, Albert began navigating the labyrinth of the German trench system.
Oh, boy.
In the confusion of the early morning trench lines, whenever they encountered another German soldier, Albert simply pressed his pistol into the hostage's back, forcing the guards to order the others to step aside or clear the path.
Yeah.
By the time the sun fully broke over the horizon, the lookouts on the French parapet witnessed an unbelievable sight. Pardon me. Private Albert Roach, missing his helmet and covered in soot, was casually walking across no man's land, calmly marching his former guard and 4 other captured German soldiers ahead of him at gunpoint.
Fuck, how did he get 4?
He climbed back into his home trench, handed the captured pistol to his sergeant, and requested a fresh ration tin. I'm hungry. Feed me.
Wow. How did he get more than just the guard? That's fucking wild.
Because every soldier that he encountered.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that by the spring of 1917, the war had reached a state of like utter devastation. Okay, so this was the year of the Chemin de Daum.
So what is that?
It is an offensive. A massive, brutally contested operation that quickly turned into chaos.
Okay.
Albert's regiment found themselves holding a heavily battered sector of the line that was being dismantled by concentrated enemy artillery.
Okay.
The bombardment had severed the subterranean telephone wires, effectively cutting off the frontline troops from the rear command. Sneeze.
Gesundheit.
To make matters worse, a coordinated German counter-offensive had managed to push around their flanks, leaving Albert's unit trapped in a pocket, isolated and surrounded on 3 sides.
Yeah, that's not good.
So the situation inside the trench was desperate. The lieutenant had been killed in the initial barrage, and the captain was severely wounded, slipping in and out of consciousness from a shrapnel injury.
Oh, boy.
The remaining pocket was pinned down by heavy interlocking machine gun fire that swept across the parapet the moment that someone showed a helmet, right?
Yeah.
So the temporary commander realized that without artillery support to break the German ring, the position would be completely overrun within hours.
Yeah.
They need someone to run back to the primary artillery lines to coordinate a counter barrage.
So they sent Albert?
It meant crossing a mile of open, completely exposed plateau under full observation of enemy snipers and machine gun nests.
Oh, boy.
The commander looked down the line of exhausted, shell-shocked men, preparing to ask for a volunteer for what was essentially a suicide mission.
Yeah.
Before he could even finish the sentence,
Albert's like, I'll do it.
Albert didn't wait for a formal order or a written dispatch. He tucked his head down and vaulted out of the trench.
Wow.
Now, he didn't run in a conventional straight line.
He knew
that a predictable target was a dead target.
Yeah.
So instead, he ran like a panicked hare.
Yeah.
Zigzagged across, throwing himself into like waterlogged shell craters.
Sure.
Sliding through slick mud. Doing literal rolls across the open ground to disrupt the rhythm of the German snipers.
Of course.
Machine gun fire tracked his movement, churning up fountains of dirt just inches from his boots.
Oh, boy.
Bullets tore completely through the loose fabric of his oversized uniform, but the bullets missed
hit him?
No, never hit him.
That is fucking insane. That's just crazy.
So he covered a mile in adrenaline, basically, and tumbled into the secondary French lines and delivered the precise coordinates of the advancing German units.
Right.
So moments later, the heavy French artillery opened up, sending a wall of defensive ammo crashing down onto the German positions surrounding the outpost.
Yeah.
But while any soldier would have taken their survival as a sign to stay put in the relative safeties of the rear lines,
not Albert.
Albert looked at the situation and decided his job was only half done. He knew his squad mates were still stuck in this trench, and he knew a German assault team had already begun infiltrating the connecting communication trenches near their position.
Sure.
So instead of reporting to a medical tent, Albert found a supply depot, grabbed a massive burlap sack, and stuffed it to the brim with every hand grenade he could possibly carry.
There you go.
He slung the heavy sack over his shoulder and ran right back into the open field, retracing his steps.
Are these, I'm sure you don't know the answer to this, but are these grenades that are like more like sticks?
I don't know if they're...
Do you know what I'm talking about? Not like the traditional grenades we know today.
Yeah, I don't know what kind they were.
They were more like, I don't know, yay long or whatever. It looked like a stick that you would throw.
Almost like TNT or something?
More or less, yeah. But it wasn't that. But yeah, so that kind of overall look.
Yeah, I don't know what kind they were.
Because you see this fucking little kid.
Yeah.
This is crazy. Anyways.
Could you imagine?
No.
Who's the kid who plays Spider-Man in the Marvel movies?
Tom Holland.
Can you imagine someone like Tom Holland doing this?
Well,
like that, he would make a great...
He's Spider-Man. So
he would make a great Albert Roach.
Well, maybe we should write a screenplay.
Okay, let's do it.
Have Tom Holland play Albert Roach.
Perfect. Okay. So Albert slipped back into the trench system near the forward outpost, navigating an abandoned parallel trench that sat directly above the communication sap the German assault team was using to advance. A communication sap is a narrow, shallow trench dug outward towards the enemy, and it was used to move troops and supplies safely without being seen.
Sure. Okay.
Okay. So Albert realized he was outnumbered dozens to one, but he also understood a fundamental rule of trench warfare. In the narrow, dark, and smoke-filled confines of a dirt trench, soldiers cannot see what is happening around them.
Of course not.
They rely entirely on their ears to judge the size of the force they are fighting.
Right.
Albert decided to exploit this vulnerability. He pulled the pin on a grenade, lofted it over the bank into a German lane, and screamed at the top of his lungs, "First Regiment, attack from the left. Charge!" And the grenade detonated.
Sure.
Before the smoke could clear, Albert sprinted 10 yards down the parallel line, tossed a second grenade, dropped his voice to a booming, gravelly baritone.
It sounded like a different guy, yep.
"Second Battalion, close the pocket, cut off their retreat." And he didn't stop moving. He ran back to the center of his position, hurled 3 grenades in rapid succession to simulate a coordinated mortar strike, and blew a frantic, shrill blast on a regular infantry whistle, shouting imaginary orders to non-existent heavy machine gun crews.
Kid is smart.
So smart.
Yeah, I mean, he's playing with what he's got, and it's fucking up the Germans pretty hard, it sounds like. Mm-hmm. So that's crazy.
So to the German commander leading the assault party down inside the narrow trench, the world has suddenly turned into an ambush.
Right.
Surrounded by smoke and dirt and deafening synchronized explosions, and hearing distinct commands coming from multiple directions at once, the officer came to a logical but false conclusion. Okay. He believed his advance team had accidentally marched straight into the assembly area of a massive, fully reinforced French division.
Jesus Christ.
The psychological pressure of being cut off and surrounded by an overwhelming force broke their resolve.
He surrendered.
The German commander tied a white handkerchief to the end of a cleaning rod, hoisted it above the trench wall, and said, "Stop firing, we surrender."
Wow.
Albert stopped throwing grenades.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
He stepped out of the smoke, completely covered in soot. His uniform is torn to shreds, holding nothing but a standard issue pistol.
Right.
The German commander climbed out of the trench, looked around for the 1st Regiment, looked around for the 2nd Battalion. There was nothing. There was no division.
It was just Albert.
It was only Albert, a 5'1" farmer standing alone in the mud.
Wow.
A total of 86 German soldiers
surrendered to Albert,
laid down their rifles and put their hands in the air, realizing they had just surrendered their entire force to a man who didn't even meet the standard height requirement for the military.
That's so funny.
Albert quietly lined them up and marched all 86 of them back to the French lines by himself. By the final months of 1918, Albert Roach's exploits had made him a near mythological figure among his frontline peers.
No doubt, yeah. That's funny.
During a fierce battle in the closing weeks of the war, Albert's captain was struck by heavy shrapnel during a tactical retreat, falling unconscious in an exposed crater deep within no man's land.
Oh.
Disregarding the retreat movement of his unit, Albert turned back into the fire. He crawled through the mud, hoisted the larger commander onto his back, and began a grueling, agonizing trek back to safety.
That's crazy.
For over an hour, he dragged and carried his commander under targeted machine gun fire, finally reaching a secure French position.
Wow.
The rescue took every ounce of physical strength that Albert possessed.
I have no doubt.
Suffering from a severe exhaustion, smoke inhalation, and acute shell shock, he crawled into a dark, abandoned dugout away from his primary unit, collapsed onto a pile of canvas, and fell into an unresponsive deep sleep.
Oh, boy.
While he was asleep, a routine patrol from a completely different regiment swept through the sector. They didn't recognize his face, and Albert was too exhausted to respond to their commands. They saw a soldier asleep away from his assigned post, lacking proper identification papers during an active enemy engagement. Under the strict, unyielding laws of wartime martial governance, they came to a decision. When Albert finally opened his eyes, he wasn't being treated for exhaustion or praised for saving his captain. He was locked inside a provisional military prison cell, formally charged with desertion in the face of the enemy.
Oh, for fuck's sake. He's been given desertion. What the fuck?
A panel of officers quickly found Albert guilty and sentenced him to death by firing squad.
What the fuck?
Locked in his cell with no options, Albert skipped all the appeals and he wrote a note directly to the Allied Supreme Commander, General Ferdinand Foch.
Okay.
Quote, "General, they are going to shoot me for running away. I have never run away in my life. I was just tired from carrying my captain. Check the files, Albert." By sheer luck, the letter reached Foch.
Prior to
the firing squad.
Firing squad? What the fuck?
Recognizing Albert's name, the general checked his actual service record, which included defending an outpost alone and capturing 86 prisoners.
Yeah.
Realizing the massive error, Foch signed a pardon and sent a courier. The stay of execution arrived just as the firing squad was ordered to shoot, saving Albert's life.
That's fucking wild that timing worked out that way, because I also find it funny that those other people are like, well, we're going to find you guilty because we don't know what the fuck we're doing, apparently.
Yeah.
Wow, way to be quick to decisions there.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
So on November 27th, 1918, 16 days after the armistice, Foch presented Albert at a victory ceremony in Strasbourg. Standing before thousands of troops and top Allied generals, Foch called Albert forward and announced to the crowd, "Behold the first soldier of France."
That's funny.
Foch then pinned the Legion of Honor to Albert's chest.
Okay.
After his demobilization, Albert avoided the public eye, packed away his medals, returned to his hometown.
And
he worked as a farmer.
Yep.
He rarely spoke of his exploit, and he lived a quiet life in the 1920s and 1930s.
Wow.
After surviving 4 years in World War I, being wounded 9 times,
Jesus Christ,
pulling off multiple impossible solo missions, capturing a total of 1,180 enemy soldiers, and narrowly escaping his own firing squad. He was killed by a regular car accident on his way home from work.
Oh, man. Really?
On April 14th, 1939, at the age of 44, Albert stepped off a commuter bus and was struck and killed by a speeding car.
That is sad.
That vehicle belonged to the daughter of a former French president.
Oh.
Just irony.
Yeah.
There was no prosecutions or anything. It was an accident. There was no records of anything happening with this person.
What a way to go with everything he went through and did for his country in that war.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So since Albert had returned to civilian life as a regular laborer and died in a standard traffic accident, not on active duty or in a military setting, he technically wasn't automatically entitled to a state funeral with full military honors.
Right.
Prime Minister Edward Daladier had to issue a special executive request to bypass standard protocol to ensure the nation properly honored him.
That's cool.
Today, a simple, sturdy little stone monument stands in his hometown to honor his memory. Wow. And that is the story of France's first soldier.
It's great that he was so all about like helping his country. I mean, obviously you could, if you were German, be like, fuck that guy. But, he was French, and he helped France do what they needed to do kind of thing. So, I mean, again, you're not going to find anybody like that today, which is sad. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to go to war either, but I feel like people even younger than me are less likely to be, again, they would rather burn the country down now. And we're not even at war.
Yeah.
But that's pretty awesome. He did all that on his fucking own.
Isn't that crazy? There is no book that I could find on him. There is one French book, but I couldn't get it translated.
Sure. So where did you get most of this from then?
Oh, I got it from ChatGPT. I said, give me a down and out hero. And they said, look into Albert Roach. And so I was looking at YouTube videos and I was reading historical reports and da-da-da. So Chippy gave me the name. And
you went from there. That's great. That's awesome.
Because I tried so hard to find a book, but there's nothing.
That's wild that there's not.
Yeah.
That's surprising.
All this information came from like historical records.
Historical documents?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just wild that there's not like even a book.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
there's a French book, but
but
I can't read that. I can't pronounce it. Can't read it.
Let's write a screenplay. Tom Holland, we're gunning for you, buddy.
Yeah, we are.
You're going to be our Albert Roach. Hope you're around 5'1". I don't think he is, but he's probably a little taller. We'll just make people that are next to him even taller.
There you go.
Welp.
I suppose.
All right, buffoons. That's it for today's episode.
Buckle up because we've got another historical adventure waiting for you next time. Feeling hungry for more buffoonery? Or maybe you have a burning question or a wild historical theory for us to explore?
Hit us up on social media. We're History Buffoons Podcast on YouTube, X, Instagram, and Facebook. You can also email us at historybuffoonspodcast@gmail.com. We are Bradley and Kate. Music by Corey Akers.
Follow us wherever you get your podcasts and turn those notifications on to stay in the loop.
Until next time, stay curious and don't forget to rate and review us.
Remember, the buffoonery never stops.